Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to today, which is the fourth of the four yin classes focusing on the different elements. And today we will be looking at the metal element, which is, according to traditional Chinese medicine, related with autumn. And connected with that, associated with that, are the meridians of the lung and the large intestines, which are in the upper part of the body. So we're going to be doing a lot of work on the upper body, working on releasing tension and helping us to breathe better. Let's get started. So coming to a comfortable seated position and making sure your spine is long, the abdomen is engaged, hands and arms are relaxed, shoulders slightly back and down. And because the focus of today will be a lot on the upper part of the body and particularly the lungs, we're going to start with the focus in the abdomen. So just noticing, first of all, the sensations in your abdomen. How does it feel? Is there a little tension there? Does it feel relaxed? And then from here, simply 3 deep breaths. As you inhale, feeling the abdomen expand outwards. And as you exhale, bringing it in towards the spinal column. 2 more times. Return to your natural breathing. And then allowing the sensations to move up. To move upwards towards the area of your ribs. Once again, noticing that space, sensations there. And then inhaling 3 times. When you've finished, returning again to your natural breathing. And then lastly, allowing the awareness to move up the back of your spine, to the back of your skull, to that space, between the back of the skull and the back of your eyes. And just relax there. And then slowly, 3 more deep breaths with your abdomen. And when you finish those 3 rounds, just returning to your natural breathing. Okay, so slowly opening your eyes, and as I mentioned before, today's focus is very much on working with the meridians in the upper part of the body, and particularly the lung and large intestine, which are 2 organs connected with releasing waste, releasing air, releasing energy, releasing food, excess food. And so we're going to start with slowly warming up from the neck. And with this one, we're just going to start with the lateral neck stretch. So remember this one, simply I'm going to start with the right side, so place your right hand on your knee if that's comfortable, and then your left arm you can bring behind you, you can bend it behind you, and we're going to be in this position for 3 minutes. So simply allowing your head to tilt to one side. Remember to keep your back straight, spine is long. And just notice the gentle stretch on the left side of your neck. Remember, you can always do this pose, particularly when you feel tension in the shoulders, as these muscles are connected, should give you some relief. And of course, if you've been working at the computer today, you may feel the need for this nice gentle stretch. Slowly bringing your head to the center, bringing your left arm down if you had it behind your back, and let's just face forward for a minute before we move to the other side. So just enjoying the rebound here, the effect of stretching those not connective tissue, particularly in the neck, which is often prone to knots and tension. So now we move to the other side. So once again, we can bring the right arm behind this time and just slowly allowing the neck to tilt, the head to tilt to the left side now. And staying here for 3 minutes. Just being aware not to tilt your body too much to the side, keeping your spine long, your abdomen engaged. Just noticing the stretch, which may be the same as the other side or may be different. Depends on your body, and also depends what you did with your body today. If you were doing something where you were inclined towards one side, maybe that side will feel more tension. So once again, the beauty of yin allowing us to discover aspects of our body that we don't notice normally because we are very busy, very distracted by external ongoings, external stimuli, watching the news, looking at screens, reading books, very external. So when we have this opportunity, we can really move inwards and notice what's happening with our body. And of course that links to what's happening with our emotions and our mind. So now slowly bring that arm back, the right arm, and then bringing the head towards the front. Once again, just stay here for a minute. Okay, so let's move now to the melted heart pose. So if you move your bolster away, and there are two options, two variations to remember here. Depending on how you're feeling today, you could either simply start seated on your heels and bring your arms out in front of you and just relax down. So that's option one. And then option two would be same pose with the big toes touching and the knees out. But instead of bringing the hips down, the hips will be over the knees, and then just bringing the hands in front of us and the head down onto the mat. Okay, so whatever feels good for you today, or what feels good for your body, let's get into that pose and enjoy. So whichever alternative you have chosen, remember they are both really great for warming up and stretching the shoulders. So really getting that tension out of the shoulders. And then, of course, from the inner forearms, from your wrist all the way up underneath your arms, you've got a really nice stretch there as well. And then a nice back bend for the upper and lower back. And as the knees are open, of course there's also a nice opening of the hips. Remember to relax. If at any time you feel pinching in the arms, you can always move the hands out to the side. If you feel pinching, it's usually because of compression. Usually there's a bone in your shoulder which is touching a bone in your arm, in your femur. Your humerus, actually. And so with Yin, we always look for ways to move around compression, so we can get the maximum benefit of any pose. And as everyone is different, everyone's body is different. You just need to find the variation or the adaptation that works best for you. Remember, it's not about what the pose looks like, it's how it feels for you. That's why in Yin classes, the people doing the poses
if we had to take photos, they would all look different. Sometimes it would seem that people were doing a different pose.
Now very slowly bringing yourself back onto your heels and come up, and let's just relax there, just feeling that deep stretch in the front of our body. Okay, so let's move now to a comfortable seated position, and from here we're going to do the eagle arms, which, as you may remember, also has three variations. We'll just be doing that for 3 minutes. So just to remind you of the different options, so variation 1 would be simply to bring the right arm on top of the left and just hugging ourselves simply like this. The important thing here is whatever option we choose, just making sure we are not rounding over like that. So that's option 1. And then option 2, to bring the backs of the palms of your hands together, or else twisting through. So whatever feels good for you. We're going to be here for 3 minutes. And just to be aware of your position, what I often do is I suggest often starting with this hugging, and then, if you feel like you can move a little bit deeper, you can. Otherwise, just staying here is fantastic. And looking ahead of you, if the gaze is down, we tend to move with the gaze. So I find it useful to keep the gaze in front of you and the abdomen engaged. And just noticing how that really pulls apart the shoulder blades. Focus on your breath, focus on your breathing. Bring your awareness to the abdomen, the moving in and out, and also on the lungs. This fundamental unconscious activity throughout the day, involuntary, that we take so much for granted, but is such an incredible tool to help us to focus, to help us to have a lot of energy, to help us to rest, to
help us to digest. So all these aspects connected with the breath that we usually take for granted. So very slowly bringing those arms down. Ooh. Just relaxing there. We'll stay here for a minute. Just facing forward. Okay, so from here we're going to move to the other side. So remember the last time we had the right arm on top, now the left arm comes on top. And simply hugging yourself, or if you feel you can move deeper in, then, so now I need to have my left arm on top here. Okay, so once again, abdomen engaged, spine long, and gaze in front of you. Remember, yin is always about going about 60 to 70% of what you know is your range of motion. So how far you can go in a certain pose. Because the aim is not to work on the muscles. The aim is actually to work on the deep tissue, the connective tissue, which of course we do find in the muscles, because the muscles are 30% connective tissue. But we're also working on ligaments and tendons, which is the focus, as well as of course as the bones. Basically, by using these poses, we are what we call stressing these areas. And by stressing these areas, we are encouraging growth at a cellular level. That's always why they say when you're injured, you shouldn't stop working or using that part of your body. Of course, you need to have the basic rest, but the longer you leave it, you don't move it, the longer it will take to recuperate, because basically what happens when you're injured is that the connective tissue basically shrink. And that's why when we do recuperation exercises or activities, it's usually painful, because we are stretching those out again. Okay, so now very slowly bringing the arms down. Let's relax here for 1 minute.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to a pose that we haven't done before. It's a wonderful pose I recently discovered, and it's wonderful particularly for relaxing the shoulders and the arms. So for this you will need 2 blocks, and I'm going to try and show you how I do it front way so you can see what I'm doing. It's a bit weird. Actually, let me try and do it this way first. Okay, so what you need to do is come lying in the Sphinx pose, take your 2 blocks on either side, and put the blocks underneath your armpits, and then just bring your arms behind you and allow your arms behind you, and allow your head just to relax onto the mat. So you're simply hanging there. Okay? Let me just see if I can show you from the front. I'm not sure if I can. This is an amazing pose, really, because I've tried this a few times and it's very, very relaxing. Let me see if I can show you this way. I've got a massive cramp in my leg. Okay, I can't show you that way. Hopefully you can find it. So bringing your armpits over the block. And when you have your armpits over the block, so we're going to be here for 3 minutes. Well, actually, let's just try for 5 minutes. It is incredibly relaxing. And then bring your arms, put your head down and bring your arms behind you. And then just relax there. And just feel your whole body relaxing. Your head as well. And once again, connecting with your breath. As you're lying down, you can notice the movement of your breath.
Now from here, just bring your arms next to the block, push the block away, and just turn yourself over so we can come lying on the back. Just to have a nice counter pose so you can notice the effect of this, particularly how it feels for the shoulders, how it feels for the head. Perhaps you can notice the rebound even in your head. The effect of this releasing and letting go. Which is one of the themes of today's class. Letting go. So when you're ready, coming to a seated position, just moving yourself up into a seated position and grab a block. We're going to be using a block in this next pose. And from here you have two options. You can either keep the right foot in front of the left foot, or what I find easier, but it depends on you and your body and how you feel today. You can stretch the right foot out, and in that way you get a little bit of a stretch. This is the half butterfly. And then place the block sort of where your knee is. And then lean your elbow sort of just a little bit further than your elbow, so it's sort of just after your elbow, onto the block. And you can either bring your left arm behind you, that's option one. And if you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring that arm up and bend it behind you, so you get a greater stretch on this side. So choose the option that works for you. Remember, don't force your body, and also you don't have to bring the block very far out, because even if it's quite close to you, the effect of gravity and the weight of your body will simply give you this really nice stretch along the side of your body. And then of course you'll have the stretch in the neck as well. So we're working on the neck stretch at the beginning of the class. We're just building on that. And then you can bring, depending on how your body feels, you can bring the arm above. So this pose particularly working with the arms connected with the lung and large intestine meridians, which are associated with today's theme, the element of metal. And metal is associated with autumn. Autumn is a time where trees lose their leaves, and it's colder. Animals go into hibernation, sometimes people as well. But there's also, accompanying this introspection, there's a sense of loss and grief. And this is not restricted to autumn. This could happen at any time of your life. And it's often connected with this sense of not being able to let go of things of the past, or perhaps even things of the future, with worries and concerns. And as both the lungs and the large intestine are connected with expelling waste, expelling that which we don't need, and stimulating these meridians helps to move through this sense of loss, this sense of grief, and allowing us to move towards strength and courage. Not hanging on to the past or our worries. Simply letting go. So now very slowly moving your way up, and it's just relax, noticing the rebound. Okay, so now from here, moving the block to the other side and then stretching the left leg out. And then getting ready for the other side. So the elbow onto the block, and then bringing the arm behind you, bent behind you, and just relaxing. If at any stage you find it's too much for your head, remember you can always just allow your head to rest on your hand. But otherwise, just relaxing. Noticing your breath.
Noticing those parts of your body that you don't notice very often. That stretch, that deep stretch in your neck, the stretch along the side of your spine, the side of your body. You could even feel the stretch going into the pelvis, right down to the pelvis. Now slowly bringing yourself up. And just relaxing here for a minute. Okay, we're going to move now to the last really focused pose on the arms, on the shoulders, and this one is also on the wrists, if that's accessible for you. This is the reverse prayer position. So let me just remind you of the variations. So the first variation would be simply to grab the forearms with your hands. So that's option one. And the second one be to grab the elbows. And lastly, to put your hands into a reverse prayer position. So whichever option you choose, just making sure you are comfortable, so not forcing it. And also, of course, as with the previous poses, the eagle arms, just making sure that the chest is open and you're not collapsing down and there isn't any uncomfortable sensation in your shoulders or in your arms. You don't feel that you're forcing it. And once again, the gaze is forward, not downwards. The gaze is forward. The abdomen is engaged. And of course, if you are in the reverse prayer position, this is great if you type a lot during the day, because this is working the tendons of your wrist. Another area that is very much forgotten about. The wrists we use so much during the day, and we never get a chance to stretch them. So the gaze forward, abdomen engaged, spine long, connecting once again with your breath. And now from here, slowly just moving your hands back to your legs and just relaxing there. Okay, so let's move now to the final pose of today before we go to the relaxation, which is the supported fish. So grab a bolster or a blanket. If you don't have a bolster, then just roll up a blanket and place it behind you. It's really important that your head is supported, and you shouldn't really have your bum up off the floor. So just adjust whatever you have, just to ensure that you have that available for you. And then when you are ready, then simply come lying down on the bolster or on the blanket. The arms can be wherever it feels comfortable for you. If you would like your arms to be, and if it's comfortable for you, above your head, that's really great. We continue to work with the meridians in the arms. But if that's uncomfortable for your arms, then just bring them by the sides with the palms facing upwards. When the palms are facing upwards, this relaxes the shoulder blades, the muscles between the shoulder blades. And we'll be here for 5 minutes. So this is the quintessential pose for ending this upper body focus. We're really creating space for the diaphragm, that muscle that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. And often it is not working very efficiently, basically because of our posture. When we sit slouched over, we are compressing the diaphragm so it doesn't have space to move very well. Because as we inhale, the diaphragm moves down and the abdomen moves outward. And as we exhale, the diaphragm moves up and the abdomen moves towards the spinal column. So it's important to be aware of the importance of the diaphragm. And notice by now your breath should be slow, as the lungs have the capacity to function very efficiently. Relax your arms, relax your shoulders, and just let go of everything. really slowly. Bend your knees and just tip yourself slowly off the bolster or the blankets, whatever you've been resting on, and grab a blanket and cover yourself. Grab a pillow if you need one, and get yourself comfortable so we can move into this final relaxation. So once you're in a comfortable position, once you've adjusted your body so you don't have to move around a lot, then just bring your attention to your abdomen. And let's just take 3 deep breaths there. And the last one. And as we've been working on the upper part of the body, let's just explore that area now. So moving gently up towards the thoracic cavity. Notice the movement of your ribs. Notice the beating of your heart. Your lungs inhaling and then expelling what they don't need. Letting go. And then move your attention up to the area of your sternum. And simply relax your arms, your elbows, your wrists, your hands. And finally, feel the awareness moving up your throat. Relax your jaw, the muscles of your face. Relax behind your eyes and your forehead. And then simply relax your mind. Just feel your body very relaxed and letting go of everything. Any worries that you brought to this class. Just allow them to just sink into the mat. Let's just start waking up the body, moving fingers and toes, moving your hands and feet, whatever movements feel good for you, from side to side or circles. And then bring your arms above your head, give yourself a nice stretch from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers. Take a deep breath, inhale, and then exhale, bring the arms down. And then bend your knees and allow the knees to fall to one side, just resting there for a moment on your side. And then slowly just push yourself into a comfortable seated position when you are ready. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this final class of where we were exploring the elements, and you feel released and ready to let go of everything, so you can start the week refreshed and renewed. So take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.